Yeah, no.
So
So
I'm going to
what?
do some, I just
Go
need
on.
some accountability, really. Someone to just kick
Okay.
me up the arse. Tash, on Tuesday, have you done what you said you were going to do last Wednesday or not? Or on
Yeah.
Friday, maybe?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that in the box. But I
Brilliant.
did start some outreach, and some interior designers have got back to me and they are interested in speaking to me. So it's all going
That's a
well,
massive win.
but
That's
slowly.
that's a really good win. So this is the thing with any progress in your business is we like to minimize in our brains, we like to minimize the stuff, any stuff. Honestly, I was having a conversation with one of my clients yesterday about amounts of money. And it's the same thing. Whenever you say, oh, but it's because of, oh, it was a fluke because, oh, it only happened because, or it was only this much amount of money. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Oh, it was just right time, right place. Anything like that, even if it might be true, just don't say it to yourself. It's really unhelpful because your brain wants to minimize your achievement to keep you safe. To be like, see all that effort and we only made £200. What's the point? So it's just a really tried and tested defense mechanism to keep you from doing big, scary stuff. So I think that's what is happening, maybe, Natasha, for you, thinking about the big, scary, reaching out, messaging people. Your brain is like, well, here's a thing that we could get an immediate tick for and feel great about. Let's do that instead. So it's all about the dopamine receivers and transmitters. Yeah, it's like, here's a list of things that you can just put a satisfying tick against. And then that will make us, the brain, feel really satisfied and fulfilled because that's our job, to keep you safe and to keep you feeling like you're just achieving.
I'll put something in the accountability
Okay.
in the school feed, and
Nice.
hopefully you can help.
What are a couple of things that you would like to say just off the top of your head now, if there's
Um,
anything that's come up?
just to really start sending my outreach emails, which I haven't done. Um, and for me, it sounds really stupid. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I find it easier to write the message. Obviously, they are personalized, but the main bulk of the message is kind of copy pasted. Not, and I find that easier because it gets it out really fast. So I do a quick introduction, copy and paste the bulk, and then move on to the next one, and it's kind of
Yeah.
done. I kind of do it before my brain catches up with me with what I've done, if that makes sense, which is ridiculous. I don't know why I have to do it that
It's
way,
just
but it
just
works
because you're
for me.
human. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what I find can be really helpful is breaking down the task into literally what's just the first simplest thing. So your task is made up of like, I don't know, it could be 5 things. Get the list of people, have the email template written, decide when to write it. Like there's so much that your brain has to actually contend with when we sit down and say, send out outreach.
Mm.
And it's the same is true for anything. Have you ever had that thing of like, write business plan? It's like an awful thing to have in your calendar. It's like, well, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's like, because your brain's like, that's not enough to go on. So
Yeah.
just break it down into like, okay, get the list. So just those little micro steps. Because then by the
Yeah.
time you've done 3 micro steps, you've done the thing
Yeah.
completely.
That's exactly how my brain works with these micro steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Meg.
You're so
It
welcome.
makes me feel normal again.
If it makes you feel better, I had the same with my passport renewal. Don't even want to tell you how many years I had the American passport renewal in my folder. About 4 years because I couldn't figure out how to do a bank draft at the post office. Cool. So that's my one action. Get passport from drawer and figure out how to do a bank post. And I think it's changed now. You can actually do it online. So it's completely normal.
See, you procrastinated long enough and now you don't have to go anywhere. It's
You know
great.
what? It's brilliant. I've procrastinated so long that in fact the tech has caught up. So I'm actually a pioneer.
Amazing. That's a win, definitely.
I'm taking it as a win. Who wants to do boring paper forms? Not me. Oh, brilliant. Natasha, we'll all give you a big kick up the bum if you want to write down exactly what the steps are and put some numbers against them, like write 5 emails today. I don't know, whatever it is that is very specific. And how will you know it's done is a good question. So for anyone who wants to get anything done, it's like, how will I know it's achieved? What is the end result of the task? Not write email. Does that make sense? Maybe that's a bad example, but maybe it's like do social media content. That's too vague again. The exact result of do social media is 5 posts written and scheduled, for example. Yeah. The more specific you can be, the easier it is when you come to sit down to do the task you've planned, because then your brain has no argument. It might try, but then you'll be like, no, we don't need coffee right now. Or whatever yours tells you when you sit down to do something you don't want to do. Anything for you, Joe? What's come up this week?
This week's been pretty hectic. It's
Holidays.
you know how it is. Just like I said, I I make a schedule, but then I don't adhere to it. So I need to stick to my schedule and get things done. And I'm not doing very good at doing that.
What's on the schedule, just out of interest?
Well, like making a social media post, trying to figure out when to schedule a webinar,
okay,
and do a webinar, stuff like that. So
okay, so let's just decide today, bang, bang, bang. This is what I'm going to do to you all today. I'm going to make you decide and commit today, and then go do it today. Feeling really bullshit. So what's the thing you want to do today? One social media post. Tell me what's achievable today that you can just like, I'm just going to get it out the door. Like Natasha said, before my brain has a chance to catch up with me.
right. Yep. So yeah, social media post.
Great. What are you going to write about?
Yeah, that's where I get stalled.
So do you have like a recent conversation you had with an interesting person last week that gave you a thought about something?
Well, no, I was thinking, because I was reading a continuous improvement book this morning, and so it's really back to the basics, right? But we need to evaluate where we are, where we want to go, and how we're going to get there. So I'm thinking that's what my social media posts would be, because then I can say, if you need help in figuring out how you're going to get there, schedule a time with me, right?
Yeah. Done. You just wrote it.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And that's more than one post, Joe. You could split that over a few days.
Yeah.
Yes, that's really good. Would it be helpful for you all if I share a template on how to it's like structure a social media post with a call to action at the end? So like
Yeah,
which
sure.
bit goes where? Because I have this format that I use that I can just share with you with an example. So I'll send that, I'll put that in the school group, like a Word document. It's essentially what we've been talking about with, can't remember which session it was, but talking about their problem. In fact, the thing I'm going to share with you speaks to this, but talking about their problem, describing how that feels, describing what they do when they're doing it. So if you were a fly on the wall, what would that person be doing? So in your example, maybe they've gotten to the end of this year and they haven't achieved what they want. And they're now confused about next year because they think, well, I didn't get this year's goal. So how can I don't know, whatever is going on for them. It's maybe something like that. And then you can just say, and that makes you do what? X, Y, Z. So you know this stuff. It's just the prompts to bring the things out.
Right. Yep.
Great. So you can do that today.
Yep.
It's only, what time is it with you? Like 7, 8 a.m.?
Yeah, 7:15. AM, yeah.
7:15. This is
Oh,
your early morning call. I apologize.
he's not even awake yet, bless him.
No, not really. And I'm getting coffee all over my screen.
I know you get told off already. Oh, just
I'm so sorry. Please have your coffee. But at least you have longer in the day because you've just started. You
Right.
could do-
Joe, do you have testimonials as well? Because I always find, although I don't do it, but I always find that a testimonial maybe once a week is like a good thing to just have in the bag that you can always just have to post if you're ever stuck. Because obviously the information-led posts are amazing. But if you're just like really stuck for something, maybe some testimonials, I think they always go down really well.
Yeah, I don't have any right now.
Do you have any reviews on your LinkedIn from when people speak to you, or do you have anything people say to you? Because you go to networking and you have conversations. You have lots of conversations, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think I have any on LinkedIn. I just got my first one on last week on Google.
Yay.
So yeah,
do
I
you
was happy
ask
about
for
that.
them? You have
I
to
think,
ask for them, definitely, because people are lazy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the things I need to work on doing constantly, right?
yeah.
No,
Ask.
you don't need. So I'm just picking up on your languaging, Joe. There's no need to. Do you see this?
Mhm.
When we beat ourselves with a big old stick, it makes us feel terrible. So just I'm pulling you up on it in a really loving fashion because it makes us feel like, oh shit, I've got to do. Like I need to. It's yet another thing I haven't, like, it's just down that road of like,
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel good. So instead of I need to do it and it's something I haven't done, you've already got a review on Google. Just use it.
right.
Just share it. That's amazing.
It's always something you can ask at networking meetings as well. If it's one that you've been going to for a while and there's people there that you, just put it as a shout out. I need some reviews. Could you, or not I would like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay when you're telling other people this is
Oh,
what
right, I need
do
this.
for me.
Get on with it.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't clarify. Oh,
And I
silly.
probably, when I do ask, I also should like give them an example. That way it will help them
Yeah.
get through their block.
And a
Right.
link of where to go as well. So if you put the link
Yes.
in the chat, then they'll go straight there. And say it, look, blame it on Meg. Say, look, my business page said I've got to have this by next week.
By today.
Yeah.
So chop chop. I'm joking. Yeah, no, that's such a good call because you already have a network of people who know you and like you.
Right.
Yeah, of course. So whenever you're stuck for content to share, my trick is just use examples from your life, even if it's not even business related. If I've been doing nothing really business related in a week, and sometimes I have weeks like that when it's just kind of kids and dogs and family stuff, honestly, and a bit of work, but not a huge amount. I just go through my brain and think, oh, what is something that I found hard? Or, just those sorts of things, just kind of getting into the shoes of your customer and your client, because they're feeling exactly the same. It doesn't even matter what it is in your life. It could be a difficult conversation with a friend, some family relationship, like it could be anything, honestly. But you're the expert in what you do. So find a way to connect the two things if you can, if that's a useful prompt.
Yeah, definitely useful. Yes. Good reminder, because I know I think of those things all the time, but then I don't get it
To
written
write them
down
down.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe just set aside some time in your week. When do you tend to get your ideas? Is it like walking or driving or going to the shop?
Yes, in
Shower.
shower, yeah.
The shower. It's always in the shower. So get one
Right.
of those underwater scuba pads with a pencil. You can buy them anywhere. You can buy them on Amazon.
Or in the middle of the night when I can't get back to sleep.
Yeah. Put a little notebook on your bedside table. Or even voice note yourself. Depends how you like, if you can use voice notes on your phone, or if you want to just type out something like an email to yourself, you can do that too.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anyone else before we start the other thing? Pete, any specifics this week?
Ooh, no, I suppose so far, like the notes I've made from attending here, like each week, I've just kind of like consolidated them down as much as possible, and really tried to just tune in a little bit of a message to address pain points and my offer and
Nice.
all that kind of jazz. It's nowhere near finished yet, but I have been working on that a little bit.
Oh,
Um,
that's really good.
and also just something you've just said actually about kind of demonstrating a value or like results that I've got for people. Because obviously since coming here, I've kind of made myself like, right, I want to get some packages put together, and I put like a PDF together so anyone who inquires, I can go over that. But then I'm like, I need to put examples in this. I need to put outcomes in this as how it's helped other businesses, and I've kind of put that together now. But for like a white label kind of, to web designers as such, for my services. But I need to do that for me directly to the like inquirer when we get on a call. So that's kind of what I've been up to and what I'm currently doing.
Nice. I think that's like round of applause worthy, because you've got loads of stuff out of your head onto a piece of paper and you're shaping it into your offer.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So is there anything that you can share with us all about the process and about how, like, where have you got so far with it, and what did it take? I'd be really curious, because I think this is really interesting and it's really good work to do, and it's quite hard to extract from your brain sometimes, I find.
Yeah, I mean, what you were saying there about notes and, we get ideas at random times. Like, I mean, my phone, I've got like keep notes on it. So I'll just jot notes down there that maybe pop into my head, which I can then later put on like a Google Doc or just some note on my desktop. And then I have to actually, I've made time to go through all that and then start putting it in some kind of logical order, shall we say.
Yeah.
But then I put my original PDF together using Canva, because that just makes it easy. And then I actually showed it someone. They weren't buying my products or anything like that. I just shared it with them in a conversation, just saying, look, I want some feedback. And they were like, yeah, that's good, but I think if you had some examples on there, it'd be even better. I'm like, oh, totally overlooked that one. So I went back and readjusted it when I put it together for a white label service. And I'm happy with how that looks. So now I just need to swap it over to like my actual offerings, because I've gone like, this is what I'm 100% sure what I do gets results for people. This is what I'm worth. So these are now the prices. These are the outcomes. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted, I can show you what I think.
Would you mind? I would really. I think
so
would everyone
far.
else like to have a look as well? Because I think this sounds like a really good process to get it all out.
Um,
Can you share your screen? Let me see if I might have to make you a host.
Yeah, I might actually have to find. In fact, let me just go to Canva and I can show you kind of what I've put together so far. and then I'll share it if that's all right.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll use that as an example. Right, can I? There's a button somewhere to make it full screen, I think. Yeah, damn. Right, let me share then. You'll probably see hundreds of, I don't think there's anything sensitive. There's loads of tabs open on my screen. So it's yeah, it's a bit jumbled. Yeah, can you see
Nice.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
Brilliant.
this will like just like pricing for SEO packages. I mean, this is like a white label one. It's the same format on my thing. I've copied that over to this and then worked on this, but I'll skim past it. I mean, they're kind of like some packages that I put together in just the white label pricing. Mine are more than that, obviously, because this is based on like bringing 10 clients in, then that's what we'll work from. So that's just like an overall thing. But this is the next part what I was missing, where it was showing the results, kind of like of outcomes from
That's
these
really
packages.
What does it? Will these people understand what a local pack ranking means? Because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's basically if you're a local business, then obviously you may have a Google My Business listing based around where you live and you offer a service in your area. Then like this little first picture has got a little map pin right in the middle. And all that is that's where the actual business is located. And then around that is like a 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
And these little circles with numbers in are showing like where that business ranks in position 1, 2, or 3. So as you can see on the outskirts there's like one that's orange that says 4.
Yeah.
So they're not quite in what we call the 3 pack, which is what's displayed on Google. So basically on Google search results, they're the top businesses that come up.
Okay. Nice. And that's a really good uptick on clicks and
yes, that's the outcome where if 200 clicks to the website and over 100 calls to the business. So that's the outcome of what that result is basically.
I love it.
And then again with a different package, these are just like 2 different websites where like the first website has had so many impressions online, which means they get seen, but it's more the clicks from Google to their website that counts really. And it's just showing the difference there with these 2 businesses. But it's the goals completed side where people have picked up the phone or contacted the business with a phone call or web form fill, something like that. And then this is like what I call the client journey. So is this example,
this is what you put in as the example after your friend said it needs some examples?
Yeah. So obviously I helped like a basically a mobile tire fitting company. They tried other people, they've not got the results. They wanted calls through like contact through WhatsApp, for example, and they just I help with their pinpoint the branding a little bit, put in the SEO process, got their online visibility up, and the outcome were 12 months later that the business owner bought a second van and then employed a family member and expanded the business out on the road. Brilliant. So
Pete, I'm just going to interrupt you to say, do you have a revenue? Not like, obviously it's not going to be specific to say I'm solely responsible for X revenue, but if you can ask them what they've seen as an uplift, because people love a number. And I think it's really helpful sometimes just to say, it could be a percentage uptick. It could be an actual revenue figure. I know you've now designed it, but that might be nice to add.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I thought there wasn't it. I'll stop sharing this now. Sorry.
No, this is fab. Thank you.
But
looks amazing.
that's what I've kind of been working on.
Nice.
How do I stop sharing? There we go.
So the thing that I'm really impressed with is because the process to get from ideas to that is like there's lots of steps in between. Because you've had to work out your offer, you've had to work out a white label offer, you've got 3 different offers, like, so there's a lot of thinking that went into that. So that process of just writing stuff down, so that, like, consolidating, taking out the stuff you need from these calls, and then applying it to be like, so what does my client need? That's like that process of kind of getting the stuff out of your brain into words or into a PDF or into an email. Like, doesn't matter the way that you're conveying it. It could just be on a call. But I really like that process of, like, you have to start with the offer and the person, and then it's like it builds. It doesn't come out fully formed, is what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? So you can't listen to one webinar and then be like, oh, brilliant, I know exactly how to now package my offer and speak about it to my client. That doesn't happen ever. And if people tell you it does, they're not telling you the truth. You could say the words and still not sell anything.
Yeah.
Because you haven't been through this thinking process of understanding how to communicate and why. Do you see what I mean? So someone can tell you, oh, just make a PDF and write XYZ and put these words in, but that will still not sell because you as the business owner haven't done the thinking work and that process, which is a bit like long and a bit clunky and messy, to be honest, of getting it out of your brain and thinking through it for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's all awesome.
Pete as well. I'm sorry if I did miss this, but maybe include some testimonials in yours as well, like some actual comments from the clients, because I think they help sell really well, customer comments.
Yeah. No. Good point. Good point.
Yeah. Yay! Massive, really big celebrations. Get into the habit of celebrating every tiny little thing. I promise you, it feels amazing, and no one's going to tell you off for doing it. Who's going to tell you off? So just like anything that you're like really, really thrilled that you've done, celebrate it really big time. Shout about it. You can shout here. You can jump up and down. We'll all jump up and down with you. Other people might think you're completely bonkers, but that's fine. I do it with my husband and my kids all the time. They're like, what's she doing jumping up and down about doing the laundry? I'm like, I've got to have some motivation to do it. If it helps me do laundry, I'm in. So like get into that daily practice of, yay me, that's amazing. I've done stuff. I said I would do it and I've done it. That's a huge win. So yeah, nice work. Cool. And Vic, did you have something this week that you want to share as well? What's been occurring?
I am just trying as fast as I can to dig myself out the hole I got in with no internet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. I've got far too much work and not enough hours on the day.
So when you say
Okay.
work, can you be specific? When you sit
Yeah,
down and
client
look at your
work.
calendar, it's client work.
Client work, so it's shit that's gotta be done.
Yep.
Because I need some money and they're not going to pay me until it's done. So.
How long do you reckon it's going to take? Like how many days or?
Well, I was all good until I had 2 meetings this morning, and now I'm kind of wading through shit again. So I think, yeah, I'm hoping by like the end of tomorrow I should be in a better situation. But I'm just gonna get my head down and get it done. And if it takes till 10 o'clock tonight, then it takes till 10 o'clock.
And then it will be done. Then you can get paid. Yay! Not getting paid. Yes, brilliant. Nice. So has that taken a bit of a so it's taken a priority obviously over 2024 stuff because it has to happen now and it's client delivery completely.
Yeah, and it's tying up just some last minute bits for these 2, and then I can kind of shelve them for a bit and focus on other stuff. So
Nice.
And
Well,
everybody's got
celebrate.
massive
You've got-
deadlines before Christmas, right? It's ridiculous. I want this done now, and I need that out so for Black Friday, and I need that out for this.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the Black Friday stuff is going off the hook on Instagram. So I don't really do much business, not that much on Instagram, but it's going bananas over there.
Yeah, and I do some social media for a client, and she just completely changed her mind about what she wanted. So the 8 hours of work I did at the beginning of the week is still valid because it will get put on something later in the year, but I now have to redo all of that work in time for Friday. Yippee! Anyway, I could rant about this for a while, but lastminute.com clients drive me insane.
Last minute, urgent, has to be now. Yeah. Well done for getting it done. Well done for managing the workload. So I'm going to present my screen for a minute and share with you, I think, the second half of this presentation I did yesterday, because I'm kind of aware that whilst we do these talks and we have these sessions and it's useful and we do coaching, you probably might need some actual resources to come back to, i.e. documents or more video or templates, things that you can take from the community and use. So that's my intention, is to give you, I'm going to present this, and then I'm going to build out some of these resources for you so you can come back to it and you go into the school community and then access it as and when you need to. But I want to give you the teaching alongside first, instead of just throwing stuff at you and being like, have a look at this. Because let's be honest, I've been in memberships before and I've literally not looked at any of the stuff until I'm told about why to use it, because then we just sit there. So does that sound good? Is there anything that you've been dying to have off of me, or dying to ask me to tell you about with regards to selling, social media, I don't know, business, anything that's like, what would be really, really helpful for you as a resource, do you think? And you can have a think about this. You don't have to answer now. But if anything floats into your mind after this chat, please direct message me or just put it in the community and let me know. Because I've got templates upon templates of all sorts of stuff, like sales call structure, marketing structure, a simple funnel to get someone on a call structure, like all sorts of these things that I can share with you. So just hit me up, tell me what would be good for now. But in the meantime, I will just share this.
Meg, sorry, just to jump in really quickly. Maybe I would be really interested in that, like, funnel to get people on a call with me.
Yeah.
Because someone, a friend actually suggested that I should have a discovery call thing on my website, because art's not such a quick purchase. People need to talk and people want advice. So I'm trying to change a little bit my process as well, even for, so that would be amazing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can let me just one sec. I'm gonna show you this screen and then I'm gonna grab a pen. Okay, so let me. Oh, this is what happens. Oh, Vic, you'll know the answer to this. Whenever I try and share my screen and then present from Canva, it doesn't like it. Let me try again. Oh, no, it is working. Can you see that? Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so this was kind of, I won't do the whole talk because there was more to it, but essentially my point for this talk, and this was all kinds of business owners, it was product based. There was a lady with a nail salon, there were people with tech software services. It was such a broad range of tech business. So my goal for them was to understand what is a sales process, firstly, and secondly, what you can do as a seller to influence that last bit of the sales process. So that was kind of like my key goal, and to make sure that, you know, it's really simple I think it can be really overwhelming sometimes with all the noise in the marketing, especially online, and people yabbering on about, oh, you know, I have a multi-million-dollar funnel, blah, blah, blah. And it can be really confusing. A funnel can literally just be, oh, here's a link to book a call, have a call, book a client. Or a funnel can be, read an email, buy a thing. That's a funnel. That's a process. So even if you don't think you have a sales process, you 100% do have a sales process. You just haven't written it down. So it's just simplifying in your mind what it actually means. So I did a bit of salesy mindset stuff, but this is essentially the journey from A to B is your sales process. And in this instance, the first point is a qualified client who wants to buy something. So that's already filtering out a lot of garbage. We're already speaking to the people who have money, who have a problem that they would like to solve with money. Yeah. Not the people who have a problem who never want to spend money on it. No. Who have money maybe, but then never spend money on this thing. That's not your people. Just immediately switch audiences. And I've seen this time and time again, especially in the coaching space. Coaches are so big-hearted. They're like, I just want to help all the teenagers. I'm like, where do teenagers get their money from? Oh, their parents. So you've got two buyers. Like the whole thing's a nightmare, essentially. So yeah, choosing the people who have the problem, they want the solution, they want to spend money on the solution, and they have the money. That's your person. And then B is happy signed client. Like they've purchased the thing. So, and then obviously when they're happy, they'll tell lots of more people and you will sell more things.
No,
so the thing I wanted to, sorry, go ahead. Oh, does someone
Sorry, I
say
was
something?
talking to the dog. I didn't realise
Oh.
it had unmuted.
That's all right. So this is your marketing essentially. So I've kind of broken the sales process down into two parts. Other people will describe this as a funnel. You'll probably see the funnel with the like awareness, consideration, intent, all that kind of stuff. I prefer to think of it as a sort of messy line because it really isn't a linear process at all. People jump around within the process a lot, but this is your marketing for the person who's aware they have the problem. So they have a need. They want to solve it. They start getting information. They've got the money. They're motivated. It's enough of a problem to become a pain in the bum, basically. You don't want people who, and when this is, again, this is the interesting thing, especially Natasha with yours, because they are solving for a problem or a need. It's just a different need. It's not necessarily a classic problem. It's not urgent. It's not like this has to get fixed or else. It's like, I want to create this beautiful space because. So that's their need. So you have to speak to that instead. So they go out and they research stuff. They start looking. They start gathering information online or talking to their friends or talking to their family and be like, oh, I'm thinking about this. They start considering options and narrowing down. All of this is marketing. All of this journey is not really your sales process. I mean, kind of is, but it's really the education and the information gathering part of your funnel. And people jump around in this as well. Sometimes they'll go all the way to narrowing down, get some new information, and go all the way back to here researching, and then just do that over and over again. So this is all your strength of your message, strength of matching their need with your solution and just closing that gap. So that's all your marketing stuff. But the bit that I really wanted to talk about is this last bit, which is they've moved from collecting information and researching and weighing up to, okay, I'm going to narrow down. It's going to be like two things, maybe three. Not all of your clients will follow you and be like, I only want to buy from that person ever. I've already decided it's Natasha or no one. I mean, it's amazing when they do, because they come out of the blue sometimes and they're like, I've been watching you for 6 months and I knew it was going to be with you and I didn't look at anything else. But they're quite rare. That I would say that's like a 5%, maybe less than 5% of your buyers will be like that. It's really fun when it happens, but usually they need some kind of help and assistance in the process. So this is the thing, they will decide to buy or not based on the price and the value exchange as they see it, not as you see it. You could value it at £17,000 and be like, it's worth £17,000 because I spent a year and a half making it. But if it's not £17,000 worth of value to them, they will not buy it. So it always has to be based on the customer's perception of value, not your perception of value. So I think this is the first big stumbling block that people come up against, because especially in the world of online business, when there's so much around money mindset and charge your worth, which I think is a horrendous thing to say anyway, because money doesn't make you good or bad as a human being. So that's nonsense anyway. But when you kind of go down that road of you judging what the value is, you're wrong already. Because your clients will tell you what the value is by buying or not buying. So when they're not buying, they're just like, no, it's not that valuable to me. I don't want to spend 50 quid for this. You haven't described it well enough to show me why I would want to. So I don't see the value. Does that make sense? So the number doesn't matter. It could be 5,000, 50,000 or £5. It really is immaterial. So they will decide based on whether they think they're getting a good deal. And then the action is they'll buy it or they won't buy it. But this is your part to have the biggest impact as the salesperson in your company right now. Because the marketing piece, yes, that's influencing too. That's talking about the problem. That's like matching your solution with what they need. That's all part of the journey. But this is really the part where you can influence. If you're good at this part, you can be terrible at marketing, honestly. You can just find leads, get them on a call and convert them. Really, it's much easier when they're already pretty ready to buy. It does make it easier. But if you're very, very good at this last piece in the sales process, you will make so much money and people will stand back and be like, what are they doing? How can they make so much money when they have 400 followers on Facebook or 200 people on an email list and everyone's telling me I need 10,000? It's because you get really good at this. So the bit that I think is most helpful is, so think of these two sides as the customer journey is up here. This is the customer action. So if you are watching your customer in this process, this is what they would be doing. They would be Googling, they would be like clicking on stuff, they'd be finding out the price, they would be asking you the price, they might inquire through your website, they might go on your sales page, whatever that action is, they will be finding that out. They're deciding, so they're talking to you or they're leaving your sales page. They're taking the action or they're not taking the action. They're dropping out somewhere. So that's why I really like a short sales process, because it just gives them fewer places to drop out. I think sometimes, especially in the marketing world, when people are trying to sell marketing to people, they want to sell a multi-step marketing process, because they're like, no, the way it's got to happen is you've got to have a lead magnet. First of all, you need traffic. So you need to drive tons and tons of traffic. And then you need to scoop up some of that traffic with a lead magnet. And then you need to nurture them for 17 years. And then maybe you might get a client. I'm like, dude, stop it. You're just giving them more reasons to fall out of the sales process. The more multi-step, the longer, I don't know, some people will deeply disagree with me. It depends how good you are at all of those steps. But I just like it really clean and simple. You take this step, then this step, and then you buy or you don't buy. And you can have a lead magnet for sure, but it's not a line, it's a circle, because people will come into your sales process, then they may come out, but you need to be scooping them back up in again with something new. And then they come back in again. So this is the action. They buy or they don't buy. They see the value, they assess based on criteria we don't know. Unless you speak to them, you don't know what those criteria actually are. And then they take the action of doing it or not doing it. So this is you down here. I might put a little person here. And these are the questions and actions you need to be thinking about. This is your sales process along the bottom. So they're going to be finding out the price. How are they finding out the price? Where are you sharing the price? How do they first find you? Is it through an Instagram post? Is it on your website? Is it through LinkedIn connection? Is it through a DM? I just want you to be really laser focused on the exact steps, because that is their customer journey. Whether you call it a customer journey or not, it is. So for an example, it could be connect with someone on LinkedIn, send a DM, comment on their post, ask them for a call. Sales process. It's really simple. You don't have to have any lead magnets or emails or segmentation or anything like that if you don't want to. But they will be considering, how are you inviting them to take the next step? And Natasha, to your question about getting people to take action, you need to sell them on each step of the process. You don't need to sell the whole pie up front. You can just open the door to the shop and be like, smells nice, doesn't it? Do you want to come in? Does that make sense? You don't have to stand on the street with the pie. They'll be like, oh, I don't eat pie today. I just had lunch. But if you walk past something and it smells delicious and it looks really inviting, then be like, oh, this place looks nice. Then they come in. So that's the first, you sell each step kind of individually. There's always just a reason to do the next thing. So I had a really great sales experience recently as the buyer with a coaching program that I've been wanting to join for about 8 months or so. And I couldn't afford the really expensive one. Oh, I didn't qualify either. They were like, how much money have you made? Have you made $250,000 this year? I was like, no. So I wasn't allowed. And I was like, that in itself is a great qualifier, because immediately the buyer's like, oh no, what else can I buy? I've been not allowed the thing I want. So then they invite me to a free session with all the existing clients, with the person who invited me, the lady who invited me. So every single step of the sales process was so smooth and easy. I didn't even know I was being sold to until I got my credit card out and bought it. But I knew I was going to buy it anyway. So I'm a very motivated buyer. Not all of your clients will be motivated buyers like that. But the sales process was like, hey, why don't you just come to this free call? You'll get a ton of value and you'll see what it's like. Well, that sounds like a good deal. Yes, I'll come to the free call. Then I sat on the free call, got loads of value, found it very insightful and helpful. And it was very good. And then at the end, they were like, oh, hey, can these people just hang back? We want to talk to them with the team. So then 5 or 6 people hung back, had a conversation with the team. The whole thing was just managed exceptionally well. And then the lady was like, great, let's just get on a WhatsApp call right now. It's like, sure, that sounds good. Very chill, very relaxed, very easy. So it wasn't her sending me an email being like, pay on this link for the coaching program. It was like a little series of agreements. Yep, I'll do the next thing. Yep, that was great. I'll do the next thing. Yep, that was really good. I'll do the next thing. So you only ever have to sell each step by itself. You don't have to sell the whole thing. So maybe that's helpful. And when they're thinking about the price, it's like, how do we find out what goes into their decision on what they find valuable? We just ask them. Just ask them. You can just say, hey, what would be really valuable for you? Like I just did a second ago with the resources. Like, I want it to be really helpful for you. So I asked you what would be really helpful. You can do that with your prospects too. You can ask them on LinkedIn. You can ask them through DM. You can ask them on a sales call. However you want. You can email them. Like, hey, I think you might be my target audience. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Like, what are you struggling with now? What would be the most helpful thing? It's so easy. And we overcomplicate this so much sometimes. Just let them tell you. They will tell you. And then how are you talking about that value? How are you taking what they've said and being like, okay, so this is the value of my product. This is the value of the offer. You said you wanted this, and this is how that delivers on value. And then the action that they have is they've got the information, whichever mechanic you use, whether it's in person or on Zoom or on an email or sales page or however you're selling, they buy or they don't buy. They click a link or they don't click a link. They get out their credit card or they don't get out the credit card. So your job here is really just like getting them to the point where they can see why they're not taking or taking the action. That's it. It's not your job to like pull people across the line. It's not your job to like tell them they're wrong if they don't. Really isn't. That's the salesiness that everyone loathes, essentially. That's the like kind of being called out for stuff when you don't take an action and being told that you're wrong for thinking and feeling a certain way, which is an awful way to be sold to. So just like understand what's going on for them, clarify it back to them. Why did they drop out? You can even ask people who've dropped out of your sales process. I'm really curious, you didn't buy. Can I ask why? They might tell you. And if they tell you, that is so much more valuable than people who actually buy and spend money with you, because you'll get better at the process. So if you asked 5 people that maybe you've spoken to in the last year or 6 months, like, I'm just really curious, I'm thinking about this, and I know we had a conversation and you didn't buy. Can you just remember why? Just be really open. So I just want to get better and see what I'm doing and make sure that I'm providing value to my customers. I'd love some feedback. Ask for feedback openly, and people generally quite happy to give it. So then you just have to remember, you're always asking them to take the next step. What is the next step? If they say yes, they're like, yes, I would love to do this. I would really like your offer. What happens next? How do they pay? Great. Just pay on this link. I'll book in a call, or log into this thing and I'll send you a password, or whatever is the thing. And remembering that deciding a buying decision, yes or no, isn't the same as committing to spend the money. And the analogy I used was, it's like getting engaged and being engaged for 10 years. You decided to get married, but you didn't commit yet. You didn't get married. It's the same thing with your buyers. Like, they can think, yes, I really want to do this, but until they pay you money, they haven't committed. So it's that tiny little gap at the end, which is like a gulf. Sometimes it can be such a big gap to just bring people across. So anything that you do to make it easy, simple, enjoyable, fun, no hassle, no stress is great. You just need to get them over the line. And that again, wasn't in this talk, but it's about the removing of risk, removing of doubt, building the trust. Like, ball in their court, like, you just get to make a decision. Tell me what's going on behind that decision, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's what I have. We're bang on 1 o'clock as well. So I'm going to have to go, but I'll put this in the, I'll put the whole deck in the school community so you can find it. And then I'll look at those other resources as well and templates. Anything else, please just chat. Accountability, put it in, please, so everyone can everyone can join in and support you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Thanks,
Have a really good
Bye.
week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Meg,
Oh, happy
Are we
Thanksgiving.
are we meeting at 2 today?
We're meeting at 2. Yeah.
It's disappeared out of my calendar, so I haven't got the link.
Oh. Okay, I'll resend it.
Cool. Thank you.